Greetings, Reynaldo. How are you, man?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
Live long and prosper. Look at you. Do you know where that came from, by the way?
Right track?
Yeah, but you know where? So Leonard Nimoy, that was his idea,
Oh, yeah.
right? Okay, so he was at temple, Jewish guy. He was at temple one Saturday or Friday night, I don't know. And you're supposed to close your eyes during the prayer, and the rabbi's getting down, doing whatever they are. I don't know what they're called. And he looked up and opened his eyes, and he saw the rabbi doing this. Now you know. Anyway,
Now I
um,
know.
Reynaldo and I met via the internet, which is how things happen in this world. And the platform that I have, that I host the podcast on, has got a service where they also you can get paired up. They call it matchmaker or something. Anyway, that's not important. And that's where Reynaldo and I met. And most of the time when I get contacted by that, it's people who are just, God bless them. They're just hustling, trying to get themselves on a podcast. And, this is something I learned in Hollywood. And, if you're an entrepreneur of any kind, which is kind of what Reynaldo gears his whole thing towards, getting entrepreneurs to open their minds up, you got to give before you get, right?
That's right.
Chris Rock told a joke. He's like, listen, man, broke down on the car. My car broke down on the side of the highway in Jersey. And he goes, I just popped my hood and I popped my trunk like they said to do and kept the doors open, and cars just kept zipping by me. And he goes, I put up with that. I don't remember the joke specifically, but he put up with it for a number of minutes. And he's like, fuck this. And he got out of the car and started pushing it himself. Don't you know, all of a sudden, car started pulling over, stopping. Before he knew it, he had like 6 guys helping him push the thing off the road, off the highway, to a safe spot, or even to a gas station. So
Wow.
when I got Reynaldo's pitch, it was like that. He was smart enough to know that, I don't know if you did this purposely or not, but you gotta have something to give. You gotta have something to offer other than, I'm the greatest and we're the greatest and we're a good fit and talk to me and I want to be on your show.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man. So anyway, here we are. And I'm going to stop talking and let him explain briefly what his business is and what it's about. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes and find out just exactly how life is art and art is life and how he got to this point.
I love it. Thanks so much, Dar. And thank you for everybody listening today in this podcast. I'm happy to share about what I do. I mean, we have a company called Impact Annex, where basically we help for-profit businesses build a philanthropic arm to the business, what we call it strategic philanthropy. And basically, it means what it means. You're giving before you're receiving. And at the end of the day, you achieve your charity goals and you also achieve financial bottom line for your company. And it feels great because then you can leverage this grant that we focus on called the Google Nonprofit Grant, which is basically a grant that they give you $120,000 of added credit, folks, not cash, it's credit for a lifetime. So that's what we do in a nutshell, just to help you do goodwill, build trustworthiness, and impact the world.
Nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know how to pitch your business that quickly, you ain't doing it right. Well done. Well said. So I'll dive right into the art is life and life is art part of it. So part of my backstory, and I think I touched on this when we talked, but I don't remember, Reynaldo. I got caught up in a cult. I jokingly say I zigged when I should have zagged, and I got caught up in a cult, and it took 20 years to get my way out of it. Not fun. When I was coming out of it, and when I was at kind of my lowest low, in the valley of the shadow of death, as they say in the Christian religion, right? Yeah. A thing happens to you where you start to, when people are in intense pain, they start to kind of focus on their own self, their own little, backside. And that's Nowheresville. And for me, I found out that by going out and being of service and contributing to something or someone bigger than myself, it just lifted the cloud and the fogs on my mental state of mind, my psychological state of mind, and my spirit. Like, it took this pressure off my chest and my heart. And so that's what I started to do. And that's what I liked about your business and the pitch you gave me, and you said just now, because most business owners don't think like that. They're just, I got to pay. They just don't, right?
No.
And when you have something in your life that's bigger than you, it just unleashes the best part of yourself. And if you can do that and make money in the same vein, contributing to that cause, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
That's so true. That's so true.
Right?
I'm so happy I came across this for that same reason, because the goal is to expand this as far as I can worldwide.
Where did that come from? I love that, but where did that come from in you?
That's a great question. You know what? I think it's my parents, kind of as I grew up, they kind of always taught me treat people like your brothers and sisters, like love. That's number one. Always be humble. Number two, and number three is my experience traveling to different countries, from right. First world, second world, third world, and appreciating the little things in life, and seeing what's really in front of me, right? The big elephant. We grew up, having one perspective, but when you get to travel, you see a lot different other perspectives. And when you start working with people from different countries, the way they think, the way they process things, it influences the way you think about business, about life, about people overall. So I think when people tell me, wow, how do you make it up there and stuff like that, I say, you know what? I am who I am because of my community. I am who I am because of people who are around me. I am who I am based upon how I program my mind and what I choose to listen and what I choose to accept. So it's very creative, different. And kind of, it's funny. I'm 33 now. If I'm talking to my older self, 23, I would not understand this, and I would have thought I would be boring. But that's what happens in life. We transform, and that's why life is beautiful.
I love that. You would think you were just a boring old fart.
Yeah.
Talking to a 23-year-old self. I feel, listen, it just, as you get older, it happens all the time. Yeah, I can't believe if I were talking to my 23-year-old self, like I am right now, I would just, God, who the hell is that guy? What happened?
Seriously.
What happened to me? But that's where like all the juice is. So your parents really pushed that narrative. It wasn't just like lip service.
Yeah, we were religious. I mean, literally, we had services Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, Sundays, and then my parents within years became preachers too. So it's like, whoa!
Oh my
God! I got to follow them and see them, go to the hospitals, go to different houses of, brothers and sisters, and pray on them, and hear a lot of, problems, issues people are having, and just, kind of shadowing what a preacher does. So I saw a lot of things, but again, I'm happy I went through everything. I mean, I see it this way, and this is from my late mentor, Steve Jobs, actually, Steve Jobs. He says, look at your life, going backwards, and it all connects the dots. It all makes sense. And so I'm thankful for all those good experiences and bad experiences in my life, because it all makes sense, and it's who I am today because of those experiences. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like you, I'm a servant leader as well, and life put me in this position that way. So I'm always giving. I always love to see transformation in people, from the good, the bad, the ugly, and into the great, the beautiful, and the diamond, you can say.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. So you weren't like this when you were 23, but you watched your folks. Well, you're heavily influenced by going to church. But here's the thing: when I'm talking to you, I don't get that, that heavy, negative religious vibe that so frequently happens. And no, not at all. And I like that. I mean, we're at the opposite, where it was kind of like, praise Jesus, brother, God's good all the time, all that stuff, which is all fine. No disparagement to anybody who's saying that. Gets to be a little much for people like me. But here's the interesting thing. I married a Baptist preacher's daughter. And yeah. Yeah. She's not like that. Thank God she's not like that. Well, I wouldn't be able to spend any time with her. But
Yes.
her father was a really great man. I'd mentioned this to you in talking. He and his best friend was Martin Luther King Jr., and they started the civil rights movement. And people who've listened to this podcast like, is this guy talking about that again? Duly noted. But they did what you're doing, just in a different way.
Mm.
It's not exactly the same, but it's parallel in that they wanted to be of service, and they're doing what was in front of their face, and in a way that, theirs was admittedly more of a social issue and more of an equality issue and more of doing the right thing. They didn't. Neither one of them got rich doing it, for sure, but their heart and their thought process was in the same place as yours. And so I found that amazing, because look at what they did. They changed this country. They changed the history of the world. Still, affects it to this day, and will for many, many hundreds of years. Who knows how long it'll go on? We forget. That's the curse of humans. But they never leaned into that dogma and that theocratic nonsense. And I think that's the saving grace, because, let's be honest. I never met Jesus, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't worried about abortions or religious freedom or any of the other nonsense that masquerades today as Christianity, nor was his thing even called Christianity. He was just this guy talking about be of service, treat others as you wish to be treated, give love first.
That's right.
What a concept.
Plain and simple. That's it.
I'm not a religious guy. I think I might have spent about less than 20 hours in church in my entire life. And most of it happened after I got married to my wife. Anyway, but I spent time in temples and mosques, synagogues, and, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I like that. I think that's great. And I think it's a great message to spread and to go along with making money.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So you've been working with a lot of big companies when you do it, right?
Yes, ranges from all sorts. I mean, we go from individuals, so entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, to mom and pop stores, to small medium businesses, to corporate. So it's a big range. I mean, people tell me, well, what kind of niches or industries? I'm like, well, it's really great for folks where people have to find you by searching something on Google. If they have to search for you on Google, then you're a good fit for this program. If they don't find you on Google, or they don't search for you on Google, then it's not a good program for you, because this grant is only for Google, basically, Google searches. So that's what I tell folks. Easy as that. But the biggest impact, you can see it with entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, or small medium businesses, because who wants to pay out of pocket monthly thousands of dollars when there's a grant that gives you $10,000 of Google ad grant, just to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And many folks,
you know how to do it, right?
Oh, that's right. Because if you don't know how to do it, it's useless.
You disqualify yourself immediately from that grant for life, right?
Exactly. And the reason is Google only works with one partner, Dar. They're called TechSoup, and they're a global organization. And basically, they validate nonprofits. And if you do any sort of mistake, or you don't do it right, the application part of that, they disqualify you, and you don't get this token that they give you if you do pass this qualification stage, which sucks, because if you can't get it, then you're done forever. So I tell folks, I spent 6 months trial and error, spending money left and right, trying to figure out the process so that I can perfect it and always get the grant on a guarantee.
How much do you think you came out of pocket in that 6 month, 8 month, whatever it was period, reading through the enormous, well, I mean, I'm saying like stacks of, I'm such a dinosaur. It's all online, but I'm sure it's several hundreds of pages.
Yeah, I spent about $13,000 to $16,000 to go
plus
through the
your
process.
time.
Yes, plus my time. And
not even adding into what your time is worth. So I would say probably conservatively, you're north of probably $70,000 or $70,000.
About right, or a bit more. I'll be honest.
Maybe more, yeah. So let's just call it 6 figures, call it $100,000.
But I can tell you the good feeling is when you perfect the system. Because now it's like I feel so confident. I mean, every single time I do it, 100% accepted. But I learned that at a young age, that practice makes better. That to get really good at something, you really have to practice. And
True.
if I was a younger me, I would have given up after my second try because I mean, shit. I mean, sorry to say shit, but I mean,
No, not at all.
you're spending money. It's like you know that you're not gonna get that money back. It's like gambling. You're risking your money, not knowing it's gonna work or not, and you don't know. You keep spending, and we're during COVID and these certain times we're living right now. It's not time to waste money at all.
Well, it's like
And I just
like they say in Boston, it's retarded. When you're young, you're retarded, right?
That's
You're
right.
retarded. You're wicked retarded, Reynaldo. Don't give up. I was the
Fucking
same way. That's
hard.
what you young people do. Yeah, you got to go hard. You got to go hard.
Oh my God,
Um,
exactly, Dar. But
but that's I
yeah,
mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. When you're young, you give up real easy, and as you get older, you realize, man,
yeah.
nothing's going to be easy.
That's so true, Dar. Nothing's gonna be easy, but it's a beautiful thing when you go through those struggles and those roadblocks. Because once you know, jump over it, you feel proud of yourself. You know, you kind of think back, wow, I struggled, but I made it. You know, because you kind of feel great about yourself. And I've been there many times, so that's why I kept going because I knew that at the end of the tunnel, the impact will be huge.
Man, I don't know. We're just a few minutes into this. They don't have a timer on here for me, and you've already dropped some serious gold nuggets. I hope that people are picking up on and catching. There's no way really to build self-esteem or confidence in yourself unless
Yeah,
you do what you just said in whatever field you're in, whatever you do. You know,
that's right.
I started out as an actor, you know, and now I produce and I do some directing and writing, and you know, you suck in the beginning. Let's be honest, you
We
know,
do.
and but if it's something you really want to do, you stick with it and you work hard at it. And I know it sounds so cliched and cheesy, but it's to me, look, it's refreshing to hear a 33-year-old guy talking like this because I don't hear a lot of 33-year-olds around me or really
No,
anywhere talk like this.
you know, there are all these awards, newspapers, all that stuff you see behind me.
I had
Um,
noticed there are a few behind you.
yeah,
Yeah.
all that I had to go through bullying, right? People bullying me for stuttering a lot, for being in special education classes in middle school, elementary school, being in lower tier classes in high school. So it took many bullyings, many you know, moments me feeling embarrassed, being attacked, people profiling me, discrimination. All that is what fuels everything that's behind me. And I don't want to share that with you and to the folks that what you're saying is true. Struggle sucks, but you know, it's just molding to something better.
It
And
builds
what
character, man.
it does. And I learned this nice quote, or basically a golf ball. If you didn't know this, a golf ball with dimples goes farther than a golf ball without dimples. And
Right.
if we see life that way, the more roadblocks, the more bullies, the more things we go through life, it's just helping us to go farther in life. You know, it's preparing for something bigger that's coming. You know, so people tell me all the
Nice.
time, how do you do it, right? How do you do so many things and at what time? And you know, life taught me that I've been molded to do a lot big things. You know, I can't just do one thing. I just can't. It's not who I am. It's not in my blood. It's not my DNA. Life has prepared me to do big things and multiple things. Um, Not because I'm chubby doesn't mean that, but you know, it just means, you know, I'm strong up here. But I'm a good eater too.
You just said a lot. So I want to back up and unpack a few things you just said. So you were in special ed in middle school.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
What led you to be in special ed?
So I'm bilingual. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Right. So
Hola.
my parents taught me Spanish in the house, and at school I was learning English. So both languages was getting messed up in my brain. So you would ask me a question in English, I would think about it in my head in Spanish, give you the response in English, but with the Spanish structure in terms of the sentence structure, grammar, everything else. So I was
Sure.
screwed up. At the same time, I was stuttering a lot in English. So
Ah,
I was just messed up. But at the same time, I mean, I remember being a boy, you know, a young kid. I'm like, I just want to be always, I want to be normal. I want to feel normal. I want to be part of the regular class and not be separate, you know, separated to a team of 4 or 6 individuals. You know?
I got to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Hold that thought. So the school system there in Methuen, I'm assuming that's
Andover. No, so I was Andover.
Okay, so in Andover. So the school system in Andover deemed you a retard and put you in special ed. Sorry,
I guess so.
just have to take the piss. You got to laugh at this stuff because it's insane. And just in case anyone wants to email me or send me nasty messages on YouTube or on the podcast, I worked with severely retarded children. That's what they called them when I was a kid. They lived right across the street from us. And I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old working with these kids. And, you know, I don't mean to diminish anybody. And I know they say special needs or challenged or whatever, fine, cool, just put that out there. So the school system in Andover deemed you to be deficient. So no one really talked with you. They just took your butt and put you in special education classes.
They gave me some tests, right? And they, based upon these tests, my scores.
We're going to go deep. So they gave you standardized testing geared toward white children. Yeah, I said it. You're a black man living in America, dude.
I mean, I'll be honest. When I was in Andover, both my parents, my brother, and I, we went through Facebook profiling, and of
course,
I went through it. I mean, I was only 3 years old when my first profiling, where I used to live. But so basically, we're in these condominiums, and the big hallway. And to leave the hallways, you have to open up the glass doors and, you know, leave, etc. And I was on the first floor. I'm 3 years old, 3, 4 years old, playing with a firefighter truck, kind of, you know, making sounds, right? And so there's some folks from 3rd floor that were going downstairs. They were leaving. They see me then by myself in the 1st floor hallway playing with the truck. So, and I saw the guy looking at me, and then he left. He went to the office, reported that I was making a lot of noises or something. I wasn't there, but he complained, he put a complaint in it. And the property manager came in, knocked on the door, and said to put this kid back in his house, stop making noises. We got several complaints from tenants that he's making so much noises. And
these are all white men, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
My family. See, he doesn't want to say anything. Black folks know right away. I have to explain it to my white audience. That's my job in life. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sucks, but
it does.
It is what it is. But the funny thing is that so many awards here, you know, my father, because he saw what we went through, he told me, son, it's not worth it you applying for scholarships, applying for this and this, because you're Latino, you're brown. They're not going to select you. They're not going to respect you. I mean, he was a bit negative, but I'm sure because he's had his own experiences that he hasn't shared with me. But based on what he's seen in life, he's like, it's not worth it, son. Just be to yourself and whatever. So
I understand.
Every time I heard that would fuel me to prove him wrong.
Did it piss you off?
It pissed me off. I'm like, dude, I mean, you're my dad. You should be supporting me. What's going on? But you know what? I'm gonna prove you wrong because I believe in myself. I know I can do these certain things and I can get these certain things. And you know what?
Amazing.
I proved him wrong. I proved many people wrong. I got scholarships. I got featured in newspapers. I earned the respect. You know, I earned that attention in the room. I kicked ass and I worked really hard on it. And I still do. I still earn that respect. But the thing is, the lesson is you have to know what value you bring as an individual and bring it out there. And you also have to teach kids that it's okay not to be liked. We didn't come to this world to be liked by everybody. And if you can bestow that into someone early on, they're going to be fine and they're going to move forward in life and not be scared. Because, you know, growing up, fear for me was you're scared of something. But over the years, I learned that fear really means face everything and rise. That's beautiful.
Wow. Amazing. That's amazing.
Fail.
Yeah.
Fail's not about failing. It's about first attempt in learning. So if you shift your mindset that way, you're unstoppable, you're unbeatable. No, you're Hercules, you know what I mean? I mean, you can go out there and do whatever you want to do and believe in yourself. So that really helped me propel. And I think if we can teach young kids those type of mindsets, they'll do great in life.
Do you do anything like that in addition to your business?
Yeah, I still do speaking engagements to the YMCA, to Boys and Girls Clubs. I still do it because I love to do it and because I remember how it felt to be in the shoes. And most importantly, I've been to the YMCA and Boys and Girls Club, and I seen kids that look like me who are younger, and they tell their teachers, hey, is he really Dominican? And the teacher, why? Why you ask if he's Dominican? Well, I've never seen someone who looks like me in a suit and a tie. I'm like, what?
Wow.
That's right. So there's still many kids today that still don't see their own kind dressed up professionally. They already have in their mind that they look in a certain way, or they achieve into a certain level, or the limit.
That's
deep. You know what I
deep.
mean?
That's deep, man. Jesus. Wow. Well said. Well said. You again said another giant mouthful. I that's touching. That's beautiful. I'm glad you do that. I'm glad you do that. The kids will listen to you. You're still young enough, and you remember it. You just said something that reminded me. When I first started out in this business, actors are notoriously neurotic and secretive and have no business acumen, generally speaking. And not that I'm not all those things. It's separate, maybe all together sometimes or separate times. But it's not who I am and how I operate. And so in the beginning, I just, I was a jock. I played football in college and in high school and played all kinds of sports. But in order to get better, I knew that I had to play against the best player that I could find. So if it was tennis, it was basketball, it was baseball, soccer, whatever it was, right? And so I would go and ask these actors who were really successful compared to me, not like A-list stars, but they were working constantly. They had name recognition. Some of them were famous, and man, they wouldn't say anything. They didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to talk to anybody about anything. And I found out over the course of time is because they didn't really know how they'd gotten there. They'd gotten a lucky break and they didn't want, and by the way, that's usually what happens all the time. You get a lucky break, and then whether you can sustain it or not, that's another conversation. But anyway, so I went through this struggle. I was like, God damn it, no one's gonna, like, really? You can't just have a conversation? And I thought, I'm never gonna be that way. And if I can help someone who's sincerely looking for answers and hasn't, they're earnest about it, and it's not just, they're not just jerking me around, I will always help as much as I can. Does that get me in trouble with some people? Yes, absolutely. Does that attract some weirdos to me? Without question. And it also doesn't do either of those things, and it helps a lot of people along their way. And it's a good feeling, man, because I never forget what it's like to be in that position, Yeah, and if you forget that, you're lost, Christ,
That's
my
so
business
true.
has made so many movies and so many stories and sitcoms and television shows and documentaries and everything else around that, people getting lost along the way and forgetting where they came from and who they are. So
People have to be reminded that in life, you have your ups and downs, and at any moment, you can lose everything. And some of us are not ready for that.
You're right. And that's the beautiful part of what you do with Impact Annex that I like, is that you open up people's eyes to having a philanthropic arm to their business and creating a 501c.
That's right.
And being of service or giving to someone or something, organization, person, event, school, whatever it may be. And that's that thing that's bigger than them. It's not just about them. And when you do that and open your mind, it's like when you travel, like you said so beautifully, when you nothing eliminates bigotry and prejudice. I can't say racism, but I probably than travel. When you go to a country, you don't speak the language, you can't read or write the language. and you don't look anything like the people there, let me tell you something, man. if you're going to get along, and the primary mechanism is survival in the human brain,
Yes.
baby, you better drop all the BS real quick, right?
And adapt, yeah.
And adapt, exactly. Adapt or die. Darwin, man. I Ching, improv. Let's go. Flow with it. And so that's what I love about what you do with Impact Annex, by helping folks create that part of their life that most have never had before, never even thought of. What's that like when you talk? Okay, I remember one of the questions I want to ask you, but when you're talking to like mom and pops, or individual service providers, freelancers, whatever, what's it like how's that conversation go when you start to suggest they do that?
Well, the first thing, oh, this is too complicated. This is too difficult. I've never imagined myself having a nonprofit. So they make it a lot complicated than it has to be. And it's amazing how this is, I don't know if it's human brain psychology, but they overcomplicate it. And it's so simple. It's stop what you're doing. No more pitching, no more selling, just give, help others like you meant to be. You got into business for a reason. You got into business to help people so you can make money too. Yeah, I get it. But I think you lost yourself in that busy world. And you forgot why you got into business. That was because you wanted to give first. So what I do is I understand the situation, understand their goals, what they're trying to do, where they're in life, because there's different stages in life. And I also ask them, forget about everything about business. What do you enjoy doing? What's your passion? And what are things
that are sure you're only 33?
Can you believe that? I'm 33. Yes.
Wise man. Sorry to interrupt. Very impressive.
Since 27, 28, when I go out to networking events, people tell me, I tell people, what do you do? Oh, I'm a financial advisor. Great. Aside from that, what do you really want to do? Well, no one really asked that question. I know, but what do you really want to do? What was it when you were a kid or young that you really wanted to do that maybe it never happened? And they tell me, what? I wanted to become an astronaut. Why not do it? What's stopping you? And you'd be surprised how many people freeze and then just, I don't know. I don't know where to start. I don't know this and this and this. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think many people out there are living not to the best of their ability. And it can be for several reasons, but it's just amazing how I get those responses. And when it comes to, Impact Annex and asking those questions like, all right, so what do you really care about? What's close to your heart, a cause? And many of them don't know. So from there, I just tell them, you know what, it's okay. We can default into aligning it with your for-profit. So rather than you're selling and pitching, let's educate people on how you help people, what problems you're solving and why you're solving it, and how these products can help them do X, Y, and Z. And stuff like that, just educate them, that's all. And makes it easier for them because then they're using what they already know from their brains to educate people.
So you're consulting them / coaching them.
Yeah.
Did you see that coming and being a part of your bit? Exactly. I didn't think.
No, it comes out naturally. It's my
well, I mean, it's
people,
Yeah. Well, it's wow, amazing.
But it helps a lot because I've been in their shoes, and it helps a lot because it helps a lot because I've been in the shoes. I mean, as working as by myself in a startup, working for a small medium business, working for a corporate, I know how it feels to be in those different shoes. I know how it feels to wear one hat versus multiple hats, be in charge of a staff. I mean, I'm thankful that by this age, I've seen a lot. And I had to go through roadblocks, people saying, oh, you're jack of all trades, or recruiters saying, you don't have a focus. I'm like, everything has a plan. I know what I'm doing. I'm gathering tools, resources, experience on how to be, how not to be, and how I can help others down the road. So I always give myself all my 20s to risk everything, travel, get into debt, hit your credit to 430 something, which I did, by the way, folks. Not because I wanted to, but I was broke. So I hit that too. So it feels good because I've been there. And when you've been there, you can relate to people, you can connect with them, and you can show examples. And I'm happy that I'm able to do that.
Right.
Beautiful.
Wow. This may be one of my favorite episodes I've ever done. Really
Cool.
interesting. And I'm not surprised given what I'm learning about you that you are the way you are and think the way that you do. I know that you don't have the same problem, problem. You don't have the same conversation with a corporation when you start talking about a philanthropic arm, because most of them already have a philanthropic arm, so it's a no-brainer for them. I would imagine, knowing what I do about corporate America, they're just like, free 10,000 credits every month? And you're like, yeah, and that's all they care about.
That means I can take 120,000 allocated to now this department and use this
Bingo.
for that. And
Bingo.
yeah, they start.
Bingo. It's just numbers. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you touched on something that it's kind of like the microcosm of the macrocosm problem that we have in our face in this country today. It's the world. It's the story as old as recorded history, as time. But people, you keep saying so much, but people don't stay true to themselves, which is unfortunate. People will take a job to earn money to pay their bills, and that's not living. That's not, that does not motivate anyone. And then people wonder why they feel depressed, or they get heavy, or they drink too much, or they start doing drugs, or having affairs, or whatever, life of crime. I don't know. But there's a million things that can happen off of that. And then you come along, you're like, what do you really want to do? That's like a frying pan to the head. But it's important. It's just wonderful to hear you talk like that, and that you're having these conversations. And, some people, not everybody signs up to work with you. I know that. But the fact that you're out there doing this I'm stunned. It takes a lot to get me speechless, but you've done a good job so far.
Cool. Good to know.
So how long did it take you to get out of the special ed in the Andover school system? I'm gunning for you, Andover school system.
No,
I'm telling you right now, Unified. What is it? Is it Andover Unified or something like that?
No, no, just Andover, Massachusetts.
Just Andover.
No, I was in special ed class throughout elementary. When I moved to Methuen, there as well. So basically, all the way up to
fascinating.
All the way up to high school. I say. I mean, high school they had like level 2, level 3, level 4. 4 was all bright students. Level 3 was like mixed, and level 2 was like all. I mean, it was really all Latinos and Black. It was.
Whoa! I'm sorry. Let's back that up. Level two was all Black and Latino students.
Yeah, you may have like 1 or 2 white person, but the majority was mostly Latinos and
I'm guessing that the entirety of that division of the school system was run by white people again.
Yeah, but again,
I hope people are listening to this and they're able to take in what we're not saying and can see the look on my face and hear the tone in my voice. And you're better than me, Reynaldo. You don't get angry about it. I mean that. If I look like you, I always say I would either be dead, institutionalized in a psychiatric ward, or in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just reality.
It's unfortunate, Dar, that's how the system was. I mean, the folks at the top, I met them. I mean, they seem like great people, but I think the person in charge of doing those levels it wasn't the right decision, because it's true what they say. Tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you what your future is, or surround yourself with great people. All that is true to some fact, but if we all can share a classroom together. Diversity, it'll be great. Become friends with other people, different income classes, different, what I mean? That's how it should be, united. It shouldn't be separate by levels.
That's all the dimples in the golf ball.
Yeah, which, by the way, it's funny because it's
together
true to
you'll travel faster and go further, right?
Those folks that got D's and C's are the ones that are entrepreneurs that are doing big things in life, because they're always hungry, but they want treated rights, and they wanted more into life to prove people wrong. And I was one of those folks.
That's right.
Those folks that kind of got the A's and A's, they're stuck somewhere in life on some sort of cycle. And those folks have come back to me how do you do it right? Can we become friends right? Can we partner up right? Can you teach me how to do this right? Those folks are coming to me
Right.
after all these years of bullying and you know, the ego going up the roof and stuff like that, you know?
Yep.
It's amazing how life happens and they come back to you.
Hmm.
Even my English
Wow.
teacher, she told me, so what are you doing after high school graduation? Join the military? I'm like, no, I want to go to this university. Oh, you won't make it there. You won't make it. I'm like, ouch. I mean, what kind of teacher says that? I mean, you're supposed to believe in me. And in fact, I made it to that university and I told her afterwards and she was speechless. And she's like, oh, that's great. That's great. Boom. There you go.
I had a lot of teachers. We moved a lot, and
Yeah.
I was always frequently. Well, we were always the new kid with the funny names.
Yeah.
Dixon's my middle name. My last name is Bijarchi, so it's a very Iranian name. Daryush is my first name. Daryush Bijarchi. So I was like the first or second kid called in class everywhere. And so all like 25 kids would turn their heads around and look to see who the hell is that, right? And because I always wanted to sit in the back, like, survey the terrain and who's in the room and the exits and stuff. I really did, man. As a kid, I thought like this. And I had a lot of teachers do the same thing to me. And my ass is white. Yeah. And it was just because, and so let me explain myself. Yeah, I was white, but I was the interloper to them. And as a matter of fact, I think a neighbor said that to my mother one time. She got upset with my mother because my mother wanted to paint and did paint our front door to the home we were living in at the time. An antique red. She painted it red and she antiqued it. It really looked beautiful, but it was a red effing door on a wood shingled house. It was really tastefully done, beautiful. But this woman, it was just different, right? So she came over and told my mother, well, listen, you're interlopers here. You're not from here. And you don't talk to my mom like that. My mom's a white woman. My dad's the guy with the accent and the darker skin. But you can interchange the red door with skin color.
Yes.
And right, it's the same thing, man. And I had a lot of teachers come up to me because I was the interloper and say really repugnant shit to me, and sometimes it was this far from my face. And
Wow.
oh yeah, it was unbelievable. And so I feel you when you talk like that. I feel you way deep in here. You never forget that shit. You never. And
No,
like
we
you,
don't.
that fueled my fire. I was like, fuck you and everything you hold dear to you. But I didn't have the words as a kid. I just remember the feeling like, you mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. I could see. I just saw the whole shift come across your face. And even in this industry that I'm in now, Hollywood, as an actor, well, hell, it doesn't matter what you are. If you write, if you produce, you direct, whatever it is, rejection is the name of the game, and it's never direct to your face. It's just phone fade.
Yeah.
Or as the kids say today, you get ghosted.
You get
Just get ghosted. And if you ever do have a conversation, or your representatives have a conversation with someone in the casting office, or sorry about this, moving my screen, they'll give you some very nice couched bullshit answer to not hurt your feelings and make it sound like you were in the running. And that may or may not be true, but anyway, you have to develop a thick skin, and so.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like,
I've done there.
yeah, bring it on. Just makes you stronger.
It does. It makes you stronger. And I think we should all go through that. I think things can get rejected.
Well, life gives that to all of us. Some of us to a greater degree, if you have more melanin in your skin, or if your hair is a little nappier than like mine is, for example, or if you have an accent, God forbid you are following Islam, or you're Asian, or right.
Yes.
And the trick is to maintain your focus and keep a great attitude, and great things will come. That's part of that hard work that struggle before, before the prize is revealed. Anyway, that
That's right.
ends the preaching part of of this. So how long has Impact Annex been in business now?
Almost for 2 years.
For 2 years. So it's still pretty much
we're-
brand new, but you're doing well.
Yes, we're doing well. We're now looking to kind of expand in terms of reaching out to partnerships. Because before it was mostly one-on-one, right? One-offs.
Okay.
Now I'm looking to kind of partner with folks that have a big network. So for example, if I like to focus on coaches, then I'll contact the ICF, which they hold thousands of coaches. And I kind of build that relationship so I can work with that big association to be an added value player for them and offer all their coaches this resource. It's a lot easier to scale up and I can impact more people faster and get my name around. Because once we have some sort of, my goal is to build this team, at least up to 10 or 15 in the US, and then move on to kind of a different Europe, it could be Latin America, and kind of do a JB or having ambassadors in different countries, have open up an office and have them help their communities. I'm trying to make this into a virus, but a good virus that inspires people and helps them empower themselves to impact their communities. You see what I mean?
Right.
Because just how I told in my essay for my master's in leadership, I have a big vision to help many people. I can't do it myself, but I can inspire and influence others to join me in this vision so I can be carried out. And that's why I like to apply for your leadership programs. You can teach me those skill sets so I can communicate effectively with people and kind of interpret my vision to everybody else. You see?
Smart man.
So
Smart
yeah,
man. I wish I was on the ball as you are when I was your age. I really
it took a lot of struggling, suffering.
Oh yeah.
But I'm happy that at this age I'm that mature from the way I think, because many folks unfortunately wake up late in life and they're stuck.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's sad. I mean, I remember working for Apple as a salesman. How many times people told me that they changed their careers 2-3 times, or some of them told me, they wish they can do this, but now they can't anymore because they're stuck in their situation. And it really sucks. And I wish there's always solutions for people out there,
Yeah. I don't know if that's my delusion or my ideal. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you're never stuck, man. It's very rare that you're stuck. It's very rare. It's just a bullshit story that we all tell ourselves. And
yes.
Because it's, because here's the reality. I live in a town, Hollywood, Los Angeles, whatever you want to call it, where you have the ability and this is true everywhere, but in this town, you can live off of your creative ideas, unlike you can anywhere else. And even though people are like, well, the internet, this and that, okay, that's all fine, but this is still Hollywood, and this is the entertainment industry, and this is where it all happens. And, you come up against your fears and doubts. And I remember in Shakespeare, he was like, your fears and doubts are traitors. They are. Yeah. They are. They will cheat you and rob you and come up with 20 million really great sounding excuses why you're stuck. I'm too old. I can't do that anymore. My kids, my wife, my husband, the economy, the weather, a war, coronavirus. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit.
It is.
Now, there may be some validity to some of the excuse that people give, but I mean, if the cat that I'm talking to right now was in the majority of his elementary school years in special education classes because he was bilingual and was getting twisted in his head on how he should respond back and what language he should respond back and what verb tense, his verbs and his verb tenses weren't agreeing, which I've done many times myself, then you really don't have any excuse, man.
You don't.
Really don't. And you got your master's degree.
That's right.
After the teacher laughed at you and said, you're not going to go to college. You don't have any chance of going to college. Shoot lower, aim lower. I got told the same thing. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about you, but it's interesting how that dynamic is always at play. And it's not necessarily. Go ahead.
That makes sense, though. I was gonna say the biggest lesson I learned in life was to be honest with yourself. That's the most important thing.
Do you remember when that came to you, when you started to think
Yeah.
like that? Oh, okay. Share that,
Two-
please.
2010 or 2011, I was working at the
Oh, so
Apple store.
fairly recently. Okay.
Yeah. And this medical doctor came in looking for an iPad. And I told him the iPad. And he told me, hey, young man, can I ask you 3 questions? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He asked me a history, a math, and a science question, and in which I failed to answer those 3 questions correctly. And he told me, you're a stupid Dominican, right? Now, for a white guy, 6'2", calling me a stupid Dominican, uh, you're looking for a fight. But at that moment, I reflected, and like literally within that 20 seconds of silence, awkward silence, I really thought to myself, you know what? I could be mad, I can react, but am I really where I really want to be? Am I really happy with myself? Am I truly smart in my definition? And I said, no, I'm not. So I told him, you know what, sir? You're right. I'm a stupid Dominican. Teach me and help me become a smart Dominican. He said, that's a smart answer. Here's my phone number, my email. Get in touch with me. Let's have lunch, breakfast, sorry, the next morning. And he ignored me like 4 or 5 times. And on my sixth time of reaching out, he's like, all right, let's meet tomorrow at this time at Starbucks. And when I met with him, he's like, you know why I'm here with you, Reynaldo? I'm like, why? He's like, you proved to me that you really want to change. You're a hungry young man. I'm going to teach you how to become a smart businessman. And then from that point on, he became my first kind of official mentor. I traveled with him throughout Massachusetts. He taught me everything about history, threw many books at me, kind of ingrained in my mind the importance of education. And that was inspired me to, have 3 concentrations, to do a master's, and go beyond and kind of teach what he taught me to other kids as well. So at that point, I learned the importance of being honest with yourself. If you're not happy where you are, make those changes. Even if it's going to take time, money, sacrifices, you have to make it happen if you're not happy with where you are in that current situation. And that's what got me through school as well. Going to this tutor center to work with tutors. I felt embarrassed, like, yo, I feel stupid being here. But you know what? Once again, I was honest with myself. You know what? I'm not good at math. I have to get through this to get to my vision, to get to my goals, to get to my dreams. I have to get by calculus. And I was in that tutoring center every single day. And I'm happy I did that move. And I didn't use my ego. Like, you know what? That's not for me. I would have flunked. I would not been in college. I mean, my life would have taken a different turn for not being honest with myself. And I think many folks today are not honest with themselves because of ego or because of status.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for telling that story.
Yeah.
Wow. Goddamn. How old were you at the time? You were like 20,
I was
19, something like that?
No, so 2011, I had been
2011. Okay.
I
So
was
we're in
about
2022.
21. I was like 21 years old, 20 or
And
21 years old.
20, 21 years old, you're at the Apple store.
Yeah.
You had a hell of an elementary school, got through high school. I don't forget, dude. I'm just going to keep reminding.
High school's interesting. I barely graduated with 1.8 GPA, right? I didn't really care about really school that much because of my experience. It kind of pushed me towards music, which, by the way, I didn't mention, I've been playing music since the age of 7. So I've been musically advanced. What that means is by age 12, I was playing with the university, the same university I went to for my bachelor's degree. And from that point on, it's been music for me forever, and and forget about education because of my experiences. Anyways, I graduated with 1.8 GPA, barely passed, sat in the last row of my class. And I remember seeing all my friends on stage with honors and medals, everything else. And I felt bad. I'm like, it feels sucky being back here. And I like to be on that stage. I know I can do it. I'm not that stupid. And I don't know. So I told myself, you know what? I want to make my parents proud. I want to make myself proud that I know I can do it. In 4 or 5 years, I'm going to be on that stage. Behold, five years later, for my university graduation, I opened up the ceremony. I was on stage.
Damn.
And I remember just while they're speaking, I'm seeing 2,000 students in front of me. I began to tear, just remembering, my history of being bullied in middle
You're
school,
making
high
me cry,
school.
man. You're making me cry. Wow.
It's
Wow.
it was a special moment in my life, and I won't forget that. And I received a medal, a chancellor's medal. They only give it to 7 students out of the 2,000, and I was one of them for leadership and community service. And all that I have it here, and it's things that I like to show my kids. Everything's possible, and all depends on what you tell yourself and what you believe up here. So I'm sure people hear this all the time, and they're like, that's funny, that's baloney, that's not true. You're hearing it live right here. I mean, it's true what they say. What you say comes to a reality. And only if you believe yourself, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself, you can make it happen. So that's it.
Man, that's beautiful. Wow. Did not expect any of this. Did not expect any of this.
Yeah.
I don't know that you'll ever have another podcast episode like this, or maybe you will. I don't know. Certainly not with any business podcasts. Holy smokes.
There's a lot.
I just need a second here. Okay. You did get me. Wow. Good for you, man. You're inspiring. You're an inspiring man. So this doctor, what kind of a doctor was he?
Family practice, like just a general type of doctor.
Is he always an
MD.
asshole, or did he go in? Can you be honest? You haven't mentioned a name, so.
I mean, he passed away, unfortunately.
He did pass away. Well, rest in peace. His approach was absolutely outrageous, but then he followed up and delivered.
He did.
You speak highly of him, and that's the wonder of the world, right? I'm sure a lot of people think I'm an asshole because I can be a little bit blunt sometimes, but
he had no filter. So he was blunt. He was direct. When he would take me out to eat different types of food and history, I mean, if you come across a young person, he would ask them literally different questions.
Same thing like he did with you, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't that like, to me, it was like, you're a stupid Dominican. I haven't seen him do it with anybody. He just tells them, oh, you're a schmuck. You should know this. This business major, you guys are stupid. I mean, you want engineers. They're gonna go big, or these doctors, But he would pick on the business people. These are the most stupidest ones out there, the business folks. But he was really direct, and he told me, Ray, I don't help schmucks like you. It's too late. I mean, I like to help middle schoolers. I mean, this guy literally took his salary, $200K or something a year, bought laptops, iMacs for kids in middle school, get them books and hard drives filled with books and knowledge to help them propel. But if you were in high school or college, it's too late. He's like, I'm not gonna spend a dime or anything with you. So for me, it was an experiment. But he kind of started like very negative, like, I'm gonna try, but I don't think you're gonna change. It's too late for you. And I made sure that it wasn't late for me, and I made sure that I did improve and propel. And check this out. Remarkable. Yeah. 2 days before he passed away, he called me, 9:30 around there p.m. He's like, "Oh, Rams, I couldn't breathe for a second. I don't know what's wrong with me, but man, my life just ran through my eyes, and all I can think about is if I were to pass away, I'll die happy because you were my success." He's like, you integrate everything that I taught you, and you've done great. So I'm like, shut up, John, whatever. But look at that. 2 days later, he passed away. That hit me hard. I'm like, wow. And the weird thing is, like I mentioned, be careful what you say. When I met him, he told me, I'll probably die at age 62, 63. And he actually died at 62. I mean, and he died natural causes. Like, there's nothing, he just died natural causes in his sleep, age 62. So
he was approximately 50-ish, 52 when he met you?
About 50, 56, 57 when he met me.
Wow.
Yeah, only a few years, and that's it. But everything it taught me,
Yeah, that's interesting.
But that guy,
what
he invested a lot of time into me and
yeah,
invested a lot of
I'm
money.
wrestling with all that. Like he just like comes across like that. He
He
really didn't have any filter, but underneath that gruff, harsh, slightly racist attitude.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
There was times where he bought me my first iPad, and I got really emotional because I think uh, no one has ever as a stranger, no one's ever spent that much money for a gift for me or on me, and I got emotional. There are times where he will give me $1,000 just to go try a business venture on my own, like those MLMs like Herbalife or
sure.
Amway, whatever. He's like, here's the money, go try it. He's like, it's all about the learning experience, and I'm like, wow, this is cool, but wow, $1,000, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So he
No.
invested a lot into me, and I won't never forget that. I mean, he would go broke purposely, but in his heart, he feel happy and joy because he knew that he planted these educational seeds onto young folks, so they can have a beautiful life. So he was a harsh guy,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
he
yeah.
also had great intentions, you know?
He didn't have very much tact. To be fair, I've called him an asshole 3 times, and then I'm also saying he's really remarkable. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, the guy was an asshole. He was tactless and a little bit racist, but in the end, he came through, right? Um, I don't approach when people reach out to me, um, email, phone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Uh, I'm much, much more gentle than what's going through my head. Because to be fair, I understand where that brother was coming from.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest that anyone who's in high school, it's over with. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong, generally speaking. And he, in a million years, never thought he was going to come across you, ever, which is why he made that phone call and you had that beautiful moment 2 days before his unfortunate death. But I remember real briefly, a young man, I don't know how old he was because we never talked about age or anything like that. And he contacted me via email and he wanted to know if I remember correctly, something about getting a film made or a script. I'm like, well, I'm not interested in your project, not because it's not good or what anything like that. It's just I've got a full plate and I can't take on anymore. And I gently started to tell him about what he would need to do. And at every step of the way, he was doing everything you shouldn't do and saying everything you shouldn't say to someone who's trying to help you. And finally, at the end, I was like, look, man, here's the reality. And I laid it out for him. And instead of stopping like you did and went, I can get pissed off. I can get really angry and fight with this man. Or I can ask myself, am I? Right? Did I? Have I? Fill in the blank.
Yep.
But he didn't do that. And he thought I was the jackass. And in my mind, I didn't like it when he got mad and he said a few choice words and I'll show you and the email, and he flamed on me. I was like, all right, fine. Do it. God bless you. I didn't respond back. But in my heart, I hope that he takes that perceived slight, which it wasn't meant to be a slight at all. And I really mean that. And takes it and uses it as fuel for his fire and comes back and says, see, and flips me the bird. I would love that. Because then I'd buy him a drink, maybe buy him dinner and tell him what I'm saying right now. Maybe he'll even listen to this. I don't know. But wow, that's remarkable. You know what? I don't know what else to say. I'm going to have another conversation with you. I need to process everything that just happened because I did not think this was going to happen. This has been the most pleasant surprise. I just started the podcast back up. I told you
Cool.
our sweet little doggy died back in June of last year. And I was like, I can't. I couldn't do anything for a long time. And I let the podcast slide since then. So you popped my cherry, so to speak. Don't make it weird, Ray. Don't make it
no
weird, bro.
worries. No
Yeah, I'm
worries.
teasing. I'm teasing. So yeah, this has really been lovely, and I don't know what to say. You're really impressive. You've inspired me, and that is a beautiful thing. And that is coming from a guy, almost half my age, makes it even sweeter. So keep doing you, man. And
Thank you.
so just before we say goodbye, remind everybody again, it's impactannex.org, right?
Yes, ANNEX. Or you can just type in googleadgrants.org. We own that too. It's pretty
Smart
awesome.
man. Well, I'm going to put links to this in the show and in the notes and stuff so people can
Yes.
see it. But listen, if you like Ray said, if you've got a business that you advertise and you're not using the internet, you should seriously consider it. I don't know what your business is. If you're a freelancer, like many people are, coaching, consulting, whatever it may be, you'd be a fool not to at least talk to Ray, because $10,000 every month in Google ad credits, not $10,000, it's not money, but you get $10,000 worth of Google ad credits every month for the rest of your life. I mean,
exactly. And just remind folks, and I'm trying to build this, but it's really a digital nonprofit. So people think nonprofit, oh, I have to get an office space physically, I have to hire. No. Don't overcomplicate it. It's a digital nonprofit.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, just a website.
Just a website. It's not, listen, it's new, it's different, and something you haven't thought about. Don't let that stop you. Don't let your fear stop you. Don't let it create some bullshit story. Just go find out what it is. See if it fits, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at this cat. If you can't trust him, I don't know who you're going to trust.
That's right. That's
seriously, man. Seriously. Yeah. Ray, brother, it's good talking to you. And I appreciate you spending time with me and with the audience. And I want to have you back when you get some more time, and we'll talk some more.
Sounds good, Dar. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone who's listening to this podcast. Please come again.
Right on. Okay.